All right. Hey, good morning. It's just barely morning, but hey, welcome to Product Coffee. Hey, Jonathan, glad to see you here. We'll have a few more folks filing in the next few minutes, and I just got something super exciting that I am wanting to share while we wait for everybody. So let me get it up on the screen over here. Boom, there it is. And let's see here. That's not the one I want. Here it comes. Oh, and we need to open up the waiting room too. There we go. All right, now everybody can file in. So, if you are in the Atlanta area or were paying attention back around July, we had our first AI for Product Forum, or as our first product management forum here in Atlanta. We had it on July 27th. It was sold out. It was a great event. And it was not only was it sold out and a great event, it was a huge success. The people who attended kept coming back and saying, "When are you going to do this?" Saying, "When are you going to do this again?" And so we're going to do a series of them. Now we're announcing today. We've kind of been teasing it for a couple of weeks, but we're announcing today that we have our next forum is going to be on November 14th. We are hosting the Impact of AI Forum for Atlanta. Now, this is going to be focused a lot on marketing technology and product marketing, but we're going to have a lot of product management people there as well. And our Product Coffee Premium members are going to get a discount as they did before. But I just want to real quickly, I want to kind of show you this. There we go. So yeah, coming up on November 14th is our Impact of AI Forum. We have got a bunch of great speakers coming for that. We've already lined several up, and there are going to be more announced. So we're going to open early bird ticket sales today. Early bird tickets are $299. Product Coffee Premium members are going to get $150 off of that. So if you're already a premium member, it's only going to be $150 for you. And early bird tickets will be available through Halloween, October 31st, and then they'll go to our regular general admission price of $349. It'll probably be sold out by then, to be honest with you, based on the results that we had last time and the testimonials that we had from people attended. Hope you can make it. Hope you can join us. It's going to be a full day of in-person learning and networking here in Atlanta. We had a couple of people fly in for the last one. Hope to see a couple of more come in as well. And once again, we're trying to create a template so that we can do these in other markets as well. So if you're not in Atlanta and you would like to have one of these forums near you, reach out to me and we'll see if we can find a location and bring one together in your market as well. So I will shut that out. I just thought I'd kind of talk about that a little bit to kind of start the day off. It's really exciting. It's a fun event. If you can make it at all, really hope to see you here. But with that being said, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time and haven't been at Product Coffee before, really want to take a moment to just welcome you and thank you for being here. One of the things that we do for about the first half an hour of each of these get-togethers is we just spend a little time talking about whatever is on our minds from a product management perspective. Or do we have challenges that we're looking to solve? Do we have something we want to celebrate? Maybe we just had a launch or solved a problem we've been working on for a little while. And the way I do that is I look for folks. If you got your camera on, I would love to invite you to introduce yourself to everybody who's here, and would really encourage everybody to turn their camera on so that we can be here in this virtual meetup a little bit more together. And but let's get started right now. And I would love to welcome first off. We've got one of our newest Product Coffee Premium members is Mary Glarum. And Mary, I would love for you to say hello, introduce yourself to everybody, and tell everybody what you're working on and what has your attention right now.
Hey everybody. Hello. So nice to be here. I learned of product coffee from Allison, who I believe is very heavily involved with the Product Coffee Book Club. I am located in Richmond, Virginia. I have been doing product for way longer than I like to admit. That's before it was even a job title. um, I did product in corporate world for like 20 years. And the past 3 years, I've been working as in various roles and also as a product coach and product mentor and digital advisor to a variety of organizations that are going through their own transformations to go from sales led to product led or to build a product practice, for example. So I I'm just happy to be here, and I am a huge advocate of staying current and continuous learning. So I enjoy just meeting all of you and learning from all of you.
Well, super glad to meet you and have you here, and want to welcome you. Is there anything that has your attention right now that you want to celebrate, or any problems you're looking to solve right now, and or are you going to save that for another week?
Um, I okay. From a celebratory perspective,
Yeah.
I'm actually volunteering with an organization outside of DC called the National Center of Women's Innovations. And we are going to be honoring Dr. Gladys West, who is going to celebrate her 93rd birthday next Friday. And she is the mathematical genius from the 1950s who is she did the baseline mathematics for GPS. So super cool. She's one of those hidden figures. Wasn't mentioned in the movie, but I'm super excited. That's something to definitely celebrate.
That is super exciting. That's very cool. So very good. Thank you and welcome. Glad to have you here, Mary. So let's see here. Let's go over to Jason Sansbury. Hi, Jason.
Hello, everyone. How are y'all today?
Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so
I know who you are, but I don't know if everybody else does.
my name is Jason Sansbury, and I am a Scrum Master at the Deluxe Corporation, and I'm working on with a legacy product there. And so I am here to kind of learn a little bit. And what's good is I actually am on sabbatical for another couple of weeks. So, but I did want to jump in and try to learn a little something today and be a part of this discussion. It sounded interesting.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you here. Anna's great. We're going to meet her here in just a minute. And looking forward to having that discussion with her. And that's going to be open to everybody to participate in. Even though I'll kind of kick us off, but hopefully everybody else will jump in. So for those who are just joining, invite you to turn your camera on and join us for the live discussion here. And if your camera's on, I'd love to invite you to introduce yourself to everybody who is here with us at Product Coffee today. So let's go to, and let me get this name right and tell me if I get it wrong. Is it Kataki?
I knew it was me. It's Kate Key, and I'm here for Anna because I worked with Anna and I love her.
Excellent.
It is my first product coffee meet. I work for Clover, and I'm a product manager too.
Excellent. Well, it is so good to have you here. Great reason to come out and great to meet you. Welcome to Product Coffee.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's jump to Catherine. Hey, Catherine.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm here. I work for those of you who don't know, I work for ADP as product manager, and I am excited to learn from others in the same area, as well as had a blast at Product Camp. I've been a product manager for quite a while now, and in the HR area, HR pay. What's on top of my mind, just to cut to that, is how much project management should I be doing versus product management? Because a lot of times I seem like I wear four hats. Mm-hmm. And 4 full-time hats. But anyhow, I've got a lot of technical features going on that I'm having to prod the architect to manage at the moment.
Gotcha. So when you're saying you're having to do a lot of project management, well, your question is how much should you be doing? And my answer for that is probably less satisfying than a lot of people would like. I think the unfortunate nature of product management, while it's very different from a project management professional role, we still do a lot of it. We're we're often the one wringable neck. And that means that making sure that everybody is on top of everything is ultimately our responsibility. Now, in a really great functioning organization, you've got really strong project management support to help. And sometimes that comes in the form of product operations. Sometimes it comes in the form of, a true Scrum Master who is facilitating team success. It comes in a lot of different forms. But there's a team effort that ultimately the product manager has to ensure is being executed on. I've been fortunate enough to work in some organizations that had really strong project management working alongside development and really help things flow smoothly, but still understanding the timelines, understanding the stakeholders, and understanding the negotiations and being a central part of them tends to be part of the job. I'm really curious about where the time sucks are and what other people's experiences are on that. So feel free if you got some thoughts on that, would love you to jump in and just talk to it. If I see any hands go up, I'll pull you to the front of the line. And while we're doing that, I will jump over to, let's say, hello to Rajan.
Yep. Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm in the midst of a customer visit, and so I'm out here outside the hotel trying to, get things together. My name is Rajan Dashel, and I work for a company called Magnet Forensics. I was formerly a product owner, but now I am a product manager for a small product that we just released called Fast Track, which will allow our law enforcement agency customers to extract multiple phones all at the same time so they can reduce their backlog. It's interesting jumping into this product. I did not launch it, but now I'm responsible for it. So learning the ins and outs, learning what customers are saying about it. We just kind of got a couple of sales going. So trying to learn everything I can about the product. And then still try to work on my duties as a product owner, because that still has not transitioned. So it's definitely taking a lot of my time right now, and then also going on customer visits like I just did. So
Awesome. Jumping in with both feet. You might want to, if you haven't already done so, we've got a couple of sessions on your first 90 days. We did a workshop on your first 90 days with a new product. I think you attended that workshop, actually, if I remember correctly, but we've still got the recordings out there and all the materials if you want to go refresh on any of that as you're kind of ramping in.
Yep, exactly.
Excellent. Cool. Well, congratulations on moving from owner to owner.
Yep.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Let's see here. Let's jump next to, let's say hi to Rakesh.
Hey, good afternoon, well, almost afternoon. What's top of mind? Networking, top of mind for me right now, the art of networking and keeping connections and maintaining those as well, and looking one step ahead.
Very good. Well, welcome back. Good to see you, my friend. It was good to see you at Product Camp. We didn't get to talk a whole lot then, but it was good to see you making your way through the crowd and getting into the sessions. So,
yeah, no, it's a great event.
Yep, cool. I know somebody who's definitely got something top of mind. Let's say hey to Matthew Burris. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Going great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Yeah, just released a beta version of our product QDIS, powered by Cog by AI. Identifies the cognitive biases that are showing up in your questions. So we had actually some interesting feedback the other day. I think the way they phrase it is bad questions lead to bad answers, which lead to bad decisions. Like, yes, And if you know the biases that show up at each one of those, you have a chance to fix it. So that's where we want to show up.
Very cool. Very exciting. I got in and played around with it a little bit last night, and really excited to watch this thing continue progressing. It's going to be a really great tool. Really great tool. And I know you sent out the note to all the product camp list yesterday as well. So you've got the link available for that beta. And if you haven't already dropped it in the chat, please drop it in there for our audience here as well.
Will do.
All right. Welcome back. So let's jump next to, we've got about 15 more minutes here. Let's see. Let's go say hi to Jackie. Hey, Jackie, how you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. I have to leave at noon, so I'm going to miss the good stuff. But I just wanted to pop in and say hello because I haven't seen you guys since product camp. So I just wanted to say hi. For those of you I don't know, I'm Jackie Flake. I'm based in Atlanta, and I'm a product coach and consultant with a consulting and staffing firm here. And right now I'm on a mission to help people also become product coaches and consultants, because there are not enough of us in the world, and I cannot staff up my product projects in the way I would like. So I am trying to transform our community as well. And one thing I did want to call out that John would probably talk about too is John Mansour and I are putting our masterminds together, and we are going to put together a webinar in a couple weeks, date to come. But we're going to talk about the 5 things you should do when you inherit a product management title and aren't really sure what to do next. So it'll be good. It'll be good. John and I kind of disagree on this a little bit. So there's going to be some controversy.
Oh,
there might be some,
Yeah, we agree on the first 2 things and not so much on the next 3. So we'll spice it up.
I love it.
So bring the popcorn.
That's going to be a ton of fun. That's awesome.
Yes.
Definitely looking forward to that. Cool. All right. I have got some weirdness going on with Zoom today. It keeps freezing up on me. I hope I'm not freezing on you, but yeah, we'll just keep plugging on through here and hope we don't have any major technical fallout here. Hey, I see we got a friend from Pittsburgh here in town. Let's say hey to Brad. Hey, Brad, welcome.
Trying to work the unmute button. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again, Jason, too.
Great to see you.
So I am from Pittsburgh. I'm in Pittsburgh. That's the magic of Zoom, I suppose. I am the executive director of the MS in Product Management program at CMU, Carnegie Mellon, and that's a step adjacent to what most people online are doing nowadays. But we really manage this degree program as if it is a product. We have to take our own medicine after all. And it's an interesting time in the program. And if you haven't heard of degrees in product management, that's because in a lot of ways, we're the only one. So we're one of the things constantly on our mind is both creating awareness for prospective students and for industry partners. So that level, like in a lot of ways, this meeting for me is discovery to understand what your needs are, because I have both sets of stakeholders, the incoming students and the outgoing employers. Mm-hmm. And we're in a strange situation right now where the program itself is only 6 years old, and we've grown to the point that we're at the desired size, the desired level of maturity. So now it's time to rethink what the strategy for the next level, the next phase of the program itself looks like. And that's what's running through my mind constantly right now.
Well, excellent. We are definitely, and you know, that program has been so cool. You know, I've been up to product camp a couple of times up there in Pittsburgh and gotten to, you know, see, meet a bunch of your students, and it's a first of its kind program anywhere. and very unique program and super powerful, and really excited about what you guys are doing. So glad to have you here, and hope you grab some insights today.
Thanks, Chase.
And always good to see you. Let's see who's next. Remember, so for those of you who joined a few minutes in, if your camera is on, I would love to introduce you and hear from you. So please flip that camera on and let's say hello. And while we're waiting on you to do that, let's jump over and say hello to Allison Herbert. Hey, Allison, how's the librarian?
I'm not the librarian this morning,
you're not.
which I was like, when? Good morning, everyone. So excited to be here. I actually didn't think I was going to make it. And so I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And great to see so many faces from Product Camp from a couple weeks ago, and a few new faces as well. So for folks that don't know me, my name is Allison Herbert. I am a senior product owner at Milliken & Company. I just crossed the 90-day mark there, and have slowed down the fire hose drinking, as we like to call it, and really starting to tuck into some exciting problems and opportunities to grow our customer-facing applications and our enterprise website. So really looking forward to that. And product vision is something that's on my mind, especially right now. I've got a whole suite of products that I'm they're in different stages and phases, and making sure we're pointed in the right direction. So very excited to hear this conversation today. Always excited to join the community here on Wednesdays, and really looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome. Great to see you. Thanks. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's see. And we're gonna, there's Andy Pohl. Hey, Andy.
Hey there, everybody. Good to see you all again. It's been a while. It's been too long.
It has. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of had a wild schedule the last couple of weeks, including a little bit of great vacation last week in Oregon at Crater Lake National Park. So that was gorgeous. Highly recommend it if you happen to find yourself in Oregon at some point. But so I work with Method. I'm a product strategist with Method, and work on a variety of client types, from financial services to industrial to healthcare. And so right now I'm focusing on less is more, is some feedback I'm getting from my development team. I'm in the midst of, I work on a variety of projects, sometimes strategy, sometimes vision, sometimes build. I'm in a build project right now, so writing a lot of user stories and learning that sometimes I'm a little bit wordy, which I think I knew, but I'm getting kind but brave confirmation of that from my colleagues, and so I'm just doing a lot of cutting out excess stuff from it. So that's a little bit tactical today, but there's my tactical word for today. Less is more. It. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very cool. Well, and that's great. That's that kind of feedback and that kind of focus is important, even though it's not always as much fun as focusing on the vision part of things and so on. But it's good to have those kind of grounding moments too. So welcome back, Andy. It's been too long since we've seen you. So let's see here. Anybody else that we have not heard from yet? Let's see, that has a camera on at least. That is, it looks like we've got, there's Stephen Curry. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing mighty fine today. Thank you for asking.
You bet. Welcome back. So what's on your mind these days?
Just trying to stay up to date with all the new changes and all the new things that are really being discussed here at Product Coffee. And I would mention to you, I recently did this road mapping micro certificate with Product School, which I got an email flyer on, which is pretty cool.
Very cool. How was that program?
It was small, so that's why it was micro, but it was pretty good and very informative to me. I got some insight that I didn't have, and it was also just a good general exercise to go through it.
Okay, very good. Cool. Well, welcome back. Good to see you. So we're going to get into here in just a moment. We'll jump in. Let's see if there's anybody else that we haven't had yet. Hey, Holly. Holly's back with us. Holly, we got some new folks in here today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey there, everybody. I'm Holly Jewell. I've been in product longer than I want to acknowledge most days, as Jason knows. I've known Jason longer than he wants to remember, too. 12 years or something. Anyway, I've been in product for 22 years. I've led product teams across banking, commerce, restaurants, you name it. We've done it and got the t-shirt. But now the best t-shirt, right? Product coffee. And so I have the pleasure, pride, and privilege of leading programming for product coffees. If you have ideas, things you want to hear more about, less about, whatever, hit me on LinkedIn, Slack if you're Product Coffee Premium. And if you're not, you should be. And also email. I also am the president of Product Camp Atlanta, which is the most fun you can have in Atlanta on, I used to say a Saturday, but as Jackie is nodding, this year Friday, and we'll see where we go from there because we had good feedback. But anyway, Product Camp is an unconference. And so as it sounds, right, it's really just a bunch of amazing people, many of you on this call and your other friends from the Atlanta and other surrounding areas that were attachable by plane, which, fun fact, you can get to Atlanta from just about anywhere by plane. So none of y'all have an excuse, by the way. Expect to see all of you next year. We get together and people, people here on the call, Allison, Jackie, Matt, I'm looking at you, pitch sessions. And we vote for which are the best. And that's who we hear from that day. And so to me, it's the most amazing thing because you're getting real product people, people who've done it, know it, teach it, live it every day. And they're telling you truths from their heart, whether it's, a funny topic of, how I literally effed up, best session topics ever, right? To, some new methodology that they've come across. And so it's just super fun. So anyway, sorry for taking so long, Jason, but just wanted to say, Product Camp, it's all about it. We didn't invent it, but we do have the longest running and obviously best consecutive. The second one's a personal, but it is true. We are the longest running consecutive product camp in the contiguous US. I tend to get over to Europe and find out what they're up to, but I'll let y'all know.
I think that streak holds true globally. I'm not sure, but I'm not aware of any of the product camps that even started outside the US that even started before about 2010, if I'm not mistaken. So,
well, I hear you, Jason. I just feel like, it's going to need to be personally validated. So I'm going to go check out Product Camp Dublin and Product Camp Berlin and just let me know where my corporate card is for that experience.
I can appreciate that. It's on its way.
Thanks, guys. Good to see everybody today.
All right. So before we jump into our introducing our sponsors, some of the folks who got here early got a heads up on this. We are launching today. Tickets will go on sale for our next Product Coffee Forum, which is the Impact of AI Forum. And this is going to be the same format as we did our wildly successful and popular AI for Product Forum in July of this year. We are pulling together a new forum with a slightly different focus that's going to really look at how this wave in AI is impacting not only the world of product management, but also the world of product marketing and go-to-market and marketing in general, with looking at some of the marketing technology solutions that we have here in Atlanta and from around the world that are leveraging these technologies to really change how we do work. And we're going to have a day of case studies, networking, deep learning, with a bunch of lightning talks as well as keynotes. It's going to be a fantastic event on November 14th. Early bird tickets will go on sale this afternoon for $2.99. And if you're a Product Coffee Premium member, you get half off of that, $150 off of those early bird tickets. And then the full price will go on November 1st when we announce the full slate of speakers as well. And would love to have you join us for that. And I was telling some folks earlier, based on the feedback we've already gotten, I expect it to be sold out before we even get to the full price ticket sales. So jump in there and grab those. Watch your email. We'll send an announcement out. Would love to see you here in Atlanta for the Impact of AI Forum on November 14th. Gonna be a great time and a great day. So that being said, let's get on to our regular goodness. And I want to start by welcoming everybody here to Product Coffee. If you haven't been here before, we're really glad to see you. You're in for a great ride. This isn't like a normal webinar series where somebody sits here and talks at you for an hour and tells you what you're supposed to think. And no, this is a conversation. This is a community networking event for product people to help each other be more successful, to help each other have more impact, learn from our own experiences. And today's session is a great example of how we like to do that here. So we'll bring Anna up here in just a moment. But before we do that, got to take just a moment to give thanks to all of our sponsors. This program, we do this program every single week, and it would not be possible to bring it to you the way we do without these great sponsors. And I'm going to drop some links in the chat here for you. And if you're out there watching on YouTube, and oh goodness, we got a lot of people out on YouTube right now. Hey, why don't you say hey out there on YouTube as well? So those are in the session description, the same links that kind of introduce you to all of our sponsors. And we always ask that you take a moment to get to know them. Check out their website if you haven't already. Learn who they are, what they do. And if you have an opportunity to give them a chance to earn your business, please do so, or introduce them to someone who could use one of the solutions that they have to offer. I'm going to start with jumping over here since Andy's here. Andy, do you want to say just a quick word about Method while you're here?
Yeah, sure. We'd be glad to. So we are a digital agency that takes a collaborative approach to digital products, whether that be a complete revamp, a expansion of current products, or a whole new avenue. And so we have a flexible approach, repeatable approach, experimental, yet proven. And we ultimately have a passion for the people we work with, as well as the quality products that we produce.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And we're always welcome to always glad to have somebody from Method represented here. Jeff's out today, but glad it's been too long since we've seen you, Andy. So welcome back. So good to see you. And next, I want to jump over to our good friend John Mansour of Product Management University. John, why don't you say hi?
Hello, everybody. For those of you I saw at Product Camp, it's great to see you again. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the president of Product Management University. And hopefully from that name, it's obvious that we educate product managers, at least one of the disciplines we educate, with both basic 101 courses and the more advanced portfolio management courses. So let's see what's going on in our world. I'm in full university mode. I'm like the mad professor over here with what I've been doing lately. So in addition to the webinar Jackie and I are going to do for people who have just landed a product management job, I've been focused for the last month or so here on the whole ripple effect of portfolio management from a strategic standpoint. So for those of you that follow me on LinkedIn, it's a 10-part drop, and I think number 9 will go out today, but I'll put a link to number 8 in the chat here. And the whole thing, what I have seen happening with product management over the years is that, we all want our products to do great, right? But every one of us is sort of working in silos, trying to execute our plan, all in the interest of helping our company meet its, revenue goals for current customers, new accounts, right? Adoption, retention goals, right? To keep the meter ticking. And everyone's working a lot harder than they need to in a lot of cases. So the whole concept behind portfolio management and the strategic ripple effect is, if all of you product managers huddle up together, and instead of trying to make your product the best you can, figure out how to make your portfolio more valuable to the market segments that are going to drive most of your revenue for the portfolio, right? So it's a much more holistic approach. And then that way, each of your products becomes a role player. Right. So if, healthcare, manufacturing, and retail are the top market segments that are going to drive your revenue, let's figure out how we deliver more value across the portfolio to the strategic goals of customers in that market. So I've been doing a lot of writing on that and just trying to help the product manager world see things from a different perspective, because we are all running harder and faster to try to hit our goals, and we get the rug pulled out from under us, and priorities change and all that sort of good stuff. So think about portfolio management, and if it can help you, or if you just want to talk shop, I'm happy to do that. And then the other thing that I'm doing in the same theme, so product management today, if some of you get that newsletter, I'm doing a webinar with them in November. In fact, I'm trying to get them to tweak the write-up, right? So the title of the webinar is "The Best Product Strategy is a Customer-Facing Portfolio Strategy." And the whole point there is a portfolio strategy gives your individual product priorities a lot more strength, so that your priorities cannot be changed on a whim. Now, the write-up, if you see it, if for those of you who get product management today, they make it sound like if you do a portfolio strategy, you can never change your product priorities. I'm trying to get them to change that, because they forgot the on a whim part. So anyway, join our mailing list, follow me on LinkedIn, connect with me, and think about portfolio management and if it might be a better option for your team than what you're doing now.
Can anyone else hear Jason?
Jason, you're on mute, or it looks like you're on mute.
He cannot hear you. We literally do not hear the words coming out of your mouth. And we know there's so many because you use a lot. When a few would work. My hands on hips pose is not working very well in Zoom, but just
today's session is going to be lip reading only. So
Yeah,
everybody
phenomenal.
pay attention.
That's
no,
right.
it's just not upgraded. We're just going to hear it.
That's right. Ollie, this is your time. He can't respond, nothing. I mean, go for it. Yeah.
So I will continue on talking about our amazing sponsors. And yeah, thanks guys. You're right, team. Sophion, if you have not gotten the chance to check out their products that are for product managers, I highly recommend that you give them a check, and see what they're doing and how that can work for you, and where it may benefit your teams. And Genuine Parts Company has been a great sponsor for Product Camp and Product Coffee. So I'll speak to that from both sides. They have a lot of opportunities there. They're looking to transform their world, their organization. I know for myself, again, white hairs here, being in product for 22 years in the Atlanta area, abashedly did not really realize that they were a technology company or that Genuine Parts Company was Napa. I admittedly only went to Napa to buy car parts for some strange reason when I had dreams of being a gearhead. Separate story for another day. But anyway, they're actually an amazing technology company, and they are building out some really cool things. And they have a dedication to their product organization. I can tell you personally, I have not seen at very many companies at all. So if you want to have the pleasure for working somewhere you're truly empowered and not just, told from the ivory tower what to do, and you get to pretend you own that vision, I would highly recommend checking out Genuine Parts Company. And last but not least, feature upvote. We use that for a lot of stuff over at Product Coffee. If you check out productcoffee.com/ideas, you can vote for ideas of things we talk about here. And yes, we care about that feedback. So give them a look. It's a lot of fun to use that kind of technology to prioritize things and rank it and understand it a little bit better. So you might give that a look and see how that works for your team as well. I don't know if I killed enough time for Jason to be back yet, but I covered the sponsor, so I think I did that job. And thank you, Stephen. I'm Targaryen. They're silver.
Keep rolling. You're doing great.
Oh, thanks, George.
Really, we might vote Jason off the island and let you lead this.
I've had the pleasure of hosting a few times. It's a lot of fun. You guys are a really cool group to do that with. So we talked about the AI forum. Let's see, we've talked about happy hour. For those that are in the Atlanta area, forgive me, but we do have an upcoming happy hour on the 26th. So I mention it here specifically because we did have it originally out there on the 19th and realized that conflicted with a bunch of startup community events and things that were happening in the area. So we decided to be the nice guys and bump ourselves a week so you didn't have to choose between really cool thing that might be opportunities versus, a drink with me and Jason, which, is obviously not nearly as cool, but alcohol. So, prioritization, people. But now you don't have to choose. You can do both. We're on the 26th, and this one will be at the Brass Tap. Next month, we will be at Park Tavern. And then December, we probably won't have a happy hour. We'll probably plan a stellar and amazing holiday party. So stay tuned to hear about that. And again, for those of you that are not in Atlanta, before you get all, that heard about this, remember that we are easily reachable by plane, train, automobile, all the things. So no excuses. Brad, calling you out again. Get your face down here. With that, I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and introduce Anna. Anna is absolutely an amazing product leader. I will say, as a woman, it's not to get on the woke thread, but it's always very enjoyable to find a passionate, strong, and incredibly knowledgeable woman leading a team to do something amazing. And so Anna to me is an amazing example of that I have the pleasure of knowing in my real life outside of Product Coffee. And I've just, watched her be this incredible dynamo for a long time. And she just has a really brilliant way that she, I think, approaches things from a product perspective. The way you think, Anna it's always just so crisp. And I really appreciate that. People that can just get right to the meat of something and not get lost in the weeds and see through. And I think that's so important, especially if you are in a product role and you are wanting to move into leadership. That's something that you really want to hone, is that ability to take all that noise, and stuff. And in any level of product, you need that too. But especially the higher up you move, I think the more that it's important to be able to crystallize on that thing, and go, okay, there was a lot of stuff said. What do we really need to do? And what do we need to focus on? And then come up with that vision that supports that. So Anna, there's my little intro. Why don't you introduce yourself and say what you really do?
Yeah, thank you. That was a really nice intro. So I really appreciate that. That was sweet. So I'm Anna McFarland. I'm currently the Director of Product Management at Paylocity. Paylocity is a human capital management software company. So we create software for anything that an HR person might do. So that could be recruiting candidates or paying them or getting employees signed up for benefits, just day-to-day working with employees, everything that kind of goes along with managing the culture or the employees at a company. I've been in product management for about 12 years, but I've been in software, B2B software for almost 20 now. I spent a long time at ADP. So I think I saw Catherine out there from ADP. I spent 15 years at ADP, but got my start at a startup that got purchased by ADP. So that's kind of how I got my foray into the HCM industry. And I did spend a quick 18 months at Fiserv, tried out fintech for a minute, but realized that my love is really with the HR industry and building software that can really touch a lot of employees' lives. That's really what kind of gets me going. I have this mantra of, I don't know if it's a mantra or like personal vision, that I want to make people's work lives better. And when I say that, it works well for the company that I work for, and everything that we build is to help make employees' lives better, but also my own as a leader of product people and as a manager of people. That's something that I think about all day long, is how can I make kind of their work lives more enjoyable, happier, better, easier, more efficient, all of those things. So that's kind of my own little personal vision that I thought I would mention. And Jason, did you want to?
I'm back.
Okay, it works. It works. All right.
You can see me, you can hear me. I have controls, and thank you so much. I'm going to just real quickly just throw this right here on the screen for just a minute. So we've got a nice little editing point there. It's like the old clapboard that we don't have anymore. And thank you so much, Holly, for jumping in there and saving the stream when my computer died. This is, better than PowerPoint karaoke. It's product coffee karaoke, host karaoke. So thanks, Anna. So what we wanted to do today, continuing the discussion, is we really wanted to dig in, following on your discussion, your session that you and John led at Product Camp, and just kind of looking at your career success over the years and the teams that you've built and structured. wanted to get inside your mind a little bit and talk about some of the approaches that you've taken and the things that you've done that have led to this successful career that you've had, and specifically want to get into your thoughts around product vision and how you create alignment around product vision in general in your organization. You're obviously very passionate about the work that you do. But when it comes to product vision, can we just start by, telling me a little bit, how do you define product vision, or how do you think of product vision, and why is it so crucial?
So I think of a product vision as where you want your product to be in the future. It's almost unattainable. It's aspirational, right? And it's kind of what you're always working towards. So it's just kind of the ideal version of what value you can bring, or what you can kind of do to help orient yourself around what you should build. Like, I think it's the most important thing about it is that it really focuses your roadmap. It lets you figure out what you need to put on your roadmap, and lets you say no to things that don't align to that vision. I think that's where it's become most powerful for me, is setting a vision and then doing a lot of research to get to the right vision. I think that's really important. But once you have it, it's so useful to just help make sure that every little thing you do, whether it's writing code or like a webinar or a go-to-market strategy, everything you do kind of is in service to that vision, and working towards that vision in one way or another. And it just kind of helps keep you on track and keep you focused on the right things, ideally.
Mm-hmm. So, and so one of the things that I hear a lot is people equating product vision with product strategy, and we talked a little bit about this in the past. And could you share with everyone here kind of your thoughts on the differentiation between product vision and product strategy?
Oh gosh, I wish you had given me that question ahead of time. That one's a
Sorry.
little. See, we don't pre-plan these questions, right?
Right.
It's like off the cuff responses.
Yeah, off the cuff responses.
Go ahead.
So let's see. I mean, to me, they're very to me, your vision is like your long-term 5 years out, maybe even more plan, right? It's like your ideal state. Mm-hmm. Your strategy is all about like, how do you get there? Or like, what's kind of the plan for the next year or two to get closer and closer to that vision?
Right. That's what we talked about. It seems like a subtle difference at times, because you have to have both. You have to have a vision in order to formulate a strategy, and you have to have a strategy in order to get to the vision. So, and I think that's always a good conversation, kind of ground setting when we're talking about this whole vision discussion in general. So when you're crafting your product vision, when you're taking on a new product and it's time to like really start laying out that vision, tell us a little bit about the process that you go through.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I always do is talk to customers. And even though I've been in the HCM industry for over 15 years, that's even more reason why I need to make sure I talk to customers. Because I feel like sometimes if you're in the same industry or working in the same industry for too long, you get really comfortable and you think you know everything. And so I always make sure to talk to customers on a very regular basis. I try and talk to at least 2 customers a week. That doesn't always happen. I did talk to 2 this week already, so I'm set for this week. But anytime I take on a new product or a new portfolio of product, that's really the first thing that I do is talk to the users of that particular portfolio. So even since I've been at Paylocity, my portfolio has changed quite a bit. And about a year ago, I was given all of our talent products, and our talent products are very different than the products I was working on before, which were which were the workflows and documents products. So the talent products are your recruiters, right? Recruiters are a big part of the talent space. So that's a whole different user that I hadn't really been focused on before. So as well as a few others, kind of culture related folks. So I really set out to make sure and just talk to customers, but talk to them in a very much a discovery sense. Don't necessarily get feedback on your product. Like, talk to your customers in a way that you're trying to get to know them, get to know more about who they are or what's important to them. What are kind of the top 5 things they're thinking about? What are their top concerns? What keeps them up at night? And then I always like to ask about what manual processes they do today. Like, my favorite question is what's something that you do, what's a manual process you do today on a spreadsheet? Because it's amazing what people will do on their spreadsheets, right? And those things just kind of, I usually ask something like that just to spark new product ideas, but generally those sessions are just about getting an understanding of my customer and understanding what's important to them right now. Because that also changes, like every 6 months, I'll start to hear different things, especially in an economy like this, where things change so fast. That's why it's great to like have them weekly, because you kind of pick up on those changes that are happening as they're happening and not relying on something that you learned a year ago.
Right. Getting into that notion of continuous discovery, even both with internally and externally, to keep the perspective fresh. And yeah, I imagine in your space especially, things are really changing rapidly, not only technologies, but not only strategies, but actual, fundamental business structures in general in the entire space that you're dealing with. And that kind of, one of the things that's really powerful about the way you kind of walk through that is your vision. As you're establishing that vision, it sounds really inclusive. You're looking across a wide variety of different sources to understand where the challenges are. As you craft that vision, how do you start to share it back out with other folks in your organization? Tell us a little bit about, or not only in your organization, but outside your organization. Tell us about how you communicate that vision from the nascent point when you're just kind of forming it to the time when it's really baked and you have a strong vision statement and you're ready to really push hard for it.
Yeah, so I think, outside of talking to customers, I also did a lot of talking to like salespeople and marketing and engineers and service and implementation folks. And so you get kind of all these different perspectives. And what I like to do is, once I kind of have a draft or an idea of what my vision will be, then I start kind of going back to maybe those same people that I did discovery with and kind of telling them or showing them what I've come up with and just seeing if it resonates with them. I just kind of tell them what I'm thinking the vision is. And I say, does this resonate? Does this feel right? Do you have any questions? How does this feel to you? What does this vision make you feel? So I do that with just different kind of folks throughout the company, as well as I always kind of review it with my boss or the like our CTO or our VP of product, those folks as well. So just kind of getting feedback from leadership, getting feedback from our strategy folks. We've got not a huge company, but a large company. We've got about 6,000 employees. So there's a lot of diverse perspectives there and a lot of people that I can kind of get feedback from. And then once I kind of feel pretty strong on it, that's when I usually take it to my team. So like I have a team of about 16 product people under me. Some of those are managers of product people. Some of them are product managers and some of them are product analysts. And so then I kind of take it to that team and present it to them. And it's more of like an official presentation at that point to my team to kind of get them on board. But I also, even in that presentation, am still always seeking feedback. And I ask the team, like, does this make sense to you? Is there anything that you would change here? That sort of thing. So that's kind of how like officially I go about it. Unofficially though, I think is the more fun way of like, you just kind of, if you have your vision in your head and once you kind of talk about it enough, you can just kind of spout it off, and I just try and bring it up whenever I can, or like use those words wherever I can and bring them up in conversation. Because people will start to kind of like get on board with it, or even echoing your words back to you or to others, which is pretty cool to see as well.
Yeah, that's that. So you know you're communicating it effectively when you start to hear other people communicating it for you. And so it sounds like a lot of that comes through repetition. So what sort of opportunities do you have to create that reputation? What opportunities do you have that kind of automatically come up, and what are the opportunities that you create to create that repetition?
It's interesting because like our software actually helps a lot, or like the software we use, our own software as well as some other things. But as a leader in the product org, I have a lot of opportunity to speak at our product. We have a product town hall each month. So like sometimes I'll speak there. And then I have run a lot of our programs. Like I created our product mentoring program at my company. And I also wrote I led the team that created the product principles for our org. So like just doing things like that, or being involved in things like that, it's kind of an organic way to like just be able to talk about things. I also do a lot of presentations. Like I did a presentation at our sales summit in front of like our 900 person sales team. And I was presenting, these are the things we've just built, now go sell them, right? But as I'm doing that, I weave my vision into that story that I'm telling the sales team, right? So I just kind of get a lot of opportunities, I think, as a product leader at my org to be able to get the stage, I guess I would say. But even smaller than that, we communicate a lot through Slack. We also have our own internal tool called Community that's very similar to Slack, not as great, honestly, but still really cool. It's a really cool tool. Our Slack, we use Slack only within product and tech, but our community tools through broadcast throughout the whole company. And so I can do things like put posts out there on our community tool, and the whole organization potentially might see it, right? So things like that, just whenever you get the chance, like if we have new releases or we have things like that, you can kind of kick in your wording of your vision when you're announcing a new release or a new feature. Things like that are where I find it's easiest and pretty natural to just mention it.
Cool. Yeah. So those formal places and then those informal conversations all come together. But I love how so often I've seen so many situations where you're in your sales kickoff, and in order to get the sales organization really excited, so many people stand up and say, and not only here's what we've got now, but here's what we've got coming down the road that's not on the truck yet. And you can't really sell it, but you need to be excited about it anyway. But instead you're really leaning into, this is how what's on the truck now, what we're offering right now, contributes to this vision that I'm sharing with you, and weaving it all together. And it sounds like storytelling is a big component of that as well, as you're kind of describing what you're doing.
Yeah, storytelling's huge. And even when I was creating my vision, I was looking at the story that our marketing team has set for our sales team. So like that was even like one of my inputs is, what's the story that we're trying to tell our customers, and how should that also influence my vision? And so they're also kind of connected in that way as well. Like don't necessarily try and come up with something from scratch. Like there's a whole marketing team that spent like God knows how much time and energy creating their sales pitch deck, right? Like that could be something that could influence your vision, even if it like, or be like a single input into it. And then it also makes it easier when you're standing up in front of sales, if like what you're saying aligns with other things that they've been hearing from other leaders across the org, not just in the product space.
I don't know if you have any at your fingertips, since you're not kind of in user group or customer conference type of mode right now. And I don't want to put you on the spot to where you might share something confidential accidentally. But if you have any examples of stories that you've used in the past or recently about where you're going right now that can be shared publicly, I'd really love a meaty example. Feel free to bow out of that one. I didn't prep you for it. I'm making a note to myself, in the future, you might suggest this. But
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think.
So many notes for Jason. Anyone who
Yes.
feels like throw those in the notes document, if you have suggestions and tips for how he can be a better host, you can put those in there too.
An example, okay, I do have
more time, Anna.
I'm thinking, can I pull up a deck of like I can pull up my sales deck that I did, because I know I had some stories in that deck. I just don't know if I can pull it up quickly enough, honestly, Jason. Like,
Well, what I'm going to do
You
is
think-
I've made you co-host, so if at some point you decide you want to, you've got that ability to do so.
Okay.
But we won't force you into that corner. And by the way, this discussion is not intended to be just me. So if you have questions or comments or your own thoughts and perspectives you want to insert, everybody here, you're welcome to throw your virtual hand up. There's a reactions panel at the bottom of your screen there. Just throw your hand up and we'll pull you up here to ask a question or share your own perspective as well. So with that being said, there's the communicating your vision and sharing your vision broadly. And then you've talked about understanding that it's starting to take root when you start hearing those words fed back to you, when you start hearing them in other conversations and they're not being said by you. But, do you have a way that you measure to know whether it's qualitative or quantitative? And I think it's more likely to be qualitative. How do you know when your stakeholders are really aligned with the vision that you've been painting?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's almost like, I think that's hard to, I think it's a little hard to tell unless you just ask them. Like I always ask, like my words are, does this resonate with you? Like that's typically how I ask if they're aligned. So that's one way you can just ask. But I don't know if you'd necessarily, depending on the person, if you're necessarily going to get like the right answer or like a true answer or an honest answer. But I think the way I can tell is if I see people get excited about it, like, and it's a little hard to like know, because some people overtly show excitement and some people don't. But if you just kind of like that, Holly, right? But if you just kind of pay attention a bit, and if you see like just like their face light up a bit when they hear it, or if like you get like, oh, the head nods, or if people start asking questions about it, I think the more that you get questions or the more people ask for clarification, almost to me, I feel like that's even, it's almost even better. Maybe not clarification, because you want it to be succinct and clear what you're trying to say, but the more people ask like, oh, how'd you get to that? Or like the more people kind of are interested and want to know more, maybe that's like a way you can really tell, I guess.
They're trying to confirm what you're saying, that they understood it correctly, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But it's also just like, in general, I think if people don't care about something, they're not going to ask questions or speak to it.
Sorry. That's how I took your clarifications. Not that you were saying you were unclear, but like you were saying, Stephen, right? That someone's repeating, like going, let me make sure I got you, or repeating it back to you. And that, if you can hear them repeat it back to you, that to me is the goal there.
Yeah.
Versus I raised my hand because I loved where you got to with that, Anna. But at the beginning of that, I'm like, the problem is you can ask people, but whether you get the blank stares or you get acknowledgements, right? I've gotten a lot of those. Yeah, thumbs up, love it, good work, right? Pat on the head or whatever. And then the next time you hear that leader walk into a room, they're like, let me tell you about the vision. And what comes out of their mouth is somehow amazingly not at all what the vision was supposed to be, right? Like
Yes.
we said we were going to go, after the chipmunk market, and all of a sudden they're talking about Labradors, and you're like, wait, what? Like, how did chipmunks become Labradors? This doesn't scale. I have a whole closet of nuts to go catch chipmunks, and now you want me to get dog treats? Like, I don't understand. No, I did not work in pet food. I'm just going totally random.
But maybe. Hey, John, what do you got for us, John?
Well, I was just going to chime in on the subject of repetition, and I think, Anna, the best thing about your vision is it reflects the ultimate outcome your customers want from your products, right? And so this is, in my mind, makes everything as a product manager simpler, right? So the opening conversation that back in my practitioner days, my opening conversation, whether it was with my dev team, with salespeople, with our executives, was right. The end game it's the product vision, and the next set of obstacles we have to remove to move the needle on that vision are X, Y, and Z, right? And so the repetition, like you said, Anna, talking to the salespeople and influencing their pitch decks and all that, right? So pretty soon people were coming to me and our product manager is saying, okay, I know the end game is this. Hey, what are we doing next to move the needle on that? And that repetition got everybody, like you say, people get excited about it, they get energized about it, they will have questions about it. What about this? What about that? Right? So the fact that they are talking to you about it is the sign that they are engaged with it. And I think it becomes like, guys, there's only one and only one thing we're trying to do, and it's the vision. And we just got to look at what are the next things we have to tackle to move the needle on that vision, whether it's the next sprint or it's the 1 to 3 year strategy or anything else. It just simplifies everything. If you say, here's the destination, we just got to make sure we figure out where the next potholes are that we got to avoid to get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Exactly. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, John. So Allison had a question in here that's kind of on this same topic. Anna, she asked, do you have any recommendations to help evangelize your vision and strategy with your stakeholders? Talking about it with them is often a good start, but is there a tool or a visual or a practice that you use regularly to connect with those stakeholders in the first place and kind of get that vision in front of them?
Yeah, I mean, there's two things that we use a lot at my company, and one is PowerPoint. I'm sure some of you use a lot of PowerPoint. That's probably the most, just whenever I'm presenting, I try and include the PowerPoint or include it in my PowerPoint slides. But outside of that, another tool that we use a lot at our company is videos. So we record short videos of ourselves. We have a tool in our actual product that records videos, and we use that to communicate a lot. I also mentioned our community product that we can connect to the whole company with. We can record videos and post them to community. So it's a way to make the communication a bit more personable, real, human, rather than just writing text in a post. Like posting a video is a little bit, and the kids love that, right? Because it's TikTok generation. I'm not on TikTok, but that's what I hear. Kids like videos, right? So those are probably the two main things, but I don't think there's any special tool, I guess I would say.
I saw a while back when I was researching this topic for another purpose, I came across a fair amount of content that was labeled as vision casting, and a lot of what they were using for that practice that they were trying to evangelize was a lot of video work to really paint the picture, using video to not only paint the picture of what you're doing, but where you're going and what the world's going to look like. And I think SpaceX has done a really good job of this. If you go out to the SpaceX website, they've got some videos about kind of the future of space travel and what that means for their vision. But it paints it in such distant terms. You're talking a 20, 30, 40-year vision that they're working with there, that shows here's how our world and experience is going to be different as our products achieve maturity. And it was also around the company more than the product specifically. So that's an interesting practice that I've seen. And I know when I was at IBM, we did quite a few iterations where we literally had video experiences where we were showing customers with experiencing the results of a product that did not yet exist, and how it was affecting the day their day in their marketing technology world. So but that's an expensive production. I mean, video is cheap these days, much cheaper than it used to be, but still doing it well and keeping it on brand, it takes a little bit of thought and effort.
Well, okay, just to like, I don't spend a lot of time and effort on these videos. These are like, there's no production value, right? It's like, it's literally myself recording my face saying something for spending like a minute talking about something. So I don't want people to get too worried that like it has to be pretty and have great visuals and like have all this production value to be valuable. Because even if you just spend a couple minutes and record yourself talking, that can be like a different way to communicate than just a written post or a PowerPoint.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally, and that's highly shareable. So that's a good point as well. As a matter of fact, I'll share it in a link here in a minute. I came across a new tool. It's a Loom competitor for doing things like what you're talking about that I just found. It's actually really slick and it's really cheap. There's like a lifetime, you can pay for it once for life right now. I'll drop a link here in the chat in a minute ago to do, you can do screen capture and video and mic. And so you can do exactly what you're talking about, whether you're demoing something that you have just released or you're sharing something out. I'll share that in a few minutes, but back to our main topic. I did see, Catherine had a question as well, and it's kind of on this same. It's on this same topic, but Catherine was asking how you re-infiltrate or re-communicate, refuel people when you've got a long-term vision and you don't want them to become complacent. You want to keep them energized. They've heard it before, they understand it, but you're now in year 2 and you want to keep that vision alive and fresh and energized with them. Have you had any specific experiences where you've had to refire people, refuel people like that? Do you have any tricks or techniques for that?
If I'm honest, I really haven't. I haven't really thought about that. Maybe I should.
Well, I think that's a real interesting question in general for everybody in the audience. Do you find that the energy around a vision tends to wane for you? And Catherine, you mentioned vision games. I'd love you to talk a little bit, if you don't mind jumping on camera here a minute ago, and tell us a little bit about what you're thinking about there.
Can we address the first part that you asked there, Jason? You asked the group.
Yeah, sorry, yes, thank you.
Break things up. Teacher here.
Yeah.
I'll raise my hand. Yes, because people have a limited ability to pay attention to something for a sustained period of time. So yes, you need to reinvigorate people. So I loved what you asked, Catherine. Anyone else?
Just, you can use your virtual hand or you can use your physical hand, and we'll try to see it. But we'd love to know if you've seen that experience. I don't see a whole lot. Go ahead.
This is Mary. In my experience, as the product leader or evangelist inside the organization, I feel like it's my responsibility to kind of refresh, refuel, continue to be the advocate for that vision. So the end game isn't forgotten about yet. The enthusiasm for the strategy and the tactical execution remains top of mind and productive. The hard part, in my opinion, is figuring out as a product leader how to allocate your time and your effort across all of these different variables of what it takes to be a product leader.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary. Anyone else? Kevin, you talk about vision prototypes a little bit in terms of getting the buy-in. Tell us a little bit about, do you guys do anything? I'm familiar with vision prototypes, and I understand a fair amount about how your team works. Would love to know a little bit more about how you're using those with your stakeholders and how you're using it to keep that vision well inflamed, so to speak.
Yeah, we've done some iterations here recently on making sure that they're revisited. I mean, they're generally as simple as Figma prototypes. The product leads and kind of heads of design generally take a week or two, not a ton of time, but putting together just some very high level, mid to high 5 prototypes, kind of looking ahead 3-5 years. The fun part is you don't have to worry about too many details at that level, just because it is so high level. You're really trying to cast that vision. So yeah, I mean, we have on our, similar to I think what Anna you were mentioning, kind of on an intranet type site, we kind of share and store these things and point kind of other organizational teams cross-functionally to use them. When relevant, we can kind of share with sales who are having kind of high level organizations or discussions with any bigger clients or potential clients. So it's just found really valuable, right? I mean, we spend a lot of time writing vision docs and presentations, and I've often found that they're great to present and then no one reads them. So really having that prototype to point to has been helpful for us.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. So
another thing kind of similar, not a little bit quite different than prototype, but in the same vein is, and that we've done a little bit of, is doing press releases, like Amazon press releases, like fake press releases. I don't know if any of you have seen that, where I definitely did that with my vision about a year ago, and created a press release of like what I would hope, what the press release would be like. So not quite a prototype, but still kind of like, how would we talk about it in the market or in a press release, and that could potentially help.
Yeah, that's a great tool to share what the world looks like when you're done as well. I'm really a fan of the kind of future press release kind of idea. I would like to circle back around to Catherine and talk a little bit about vision games, and hear kind of your perspective and some of the things that you're thinking about giving a try there.
Well, hey, this is Catherine. So I, as Hallie said, and thank you, Hallie, because it's true, as human nature, when you're accomplishing something for multiple years, people tend to be like, oh, the same old, Groundhog Day again. And so it's really important to, no matter how much you're talking to customers and how much, and I try to do this, of course, I'm talking to customers as much as I can, but is to, like for everybody, right? All industries, there's been a lot of turnover in the past 4 years. So not only from all the way to the top, from senior leadership down to your teams, your development teams, they may come in and be like, oh yeah, this is a good mission. And I've seen people play off each other. I've seen like another person get a little bit more enthused because the new person is like, are you kidding? I love this. But at the same time, you got the people who've been around a while. It's like, yeah, we're doing the same thing. So I just thought it'd be cool to do like a game, like, I used to do this years ago in church, I think, but whoever can repeat the mission by heart, exactly what it is, gets the prize for the day, and just kind of impromptu bring that up in team meetings, quarterly team meetings, or do something like that. Like which word in this mission is valid word that, we have. So just a thought.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else have any experiences or thoughts on that front?
I just wanted to add, and to build on what Catherine said, I think the concept of games, or the gamification of it, is a brilliant internal strategy, because a couple of things. There are different people consume information in different ways. And if you can not just get them to consume the information, but then to engage and be proactive and interact, then therefore I think you inherently get more traction. So I love what you just shared about the gamification or the vision games.
Yeah, very much. Thank you. Yeah. John.
Gamification is obviously a great way to do that. One of the other things that I've seen folks do to keep that vision fresh is assuming that it is, it's the ultimate thing customers want, right? To talk about and communicate the changing market dynamics for your target customers and how those changing market dynamics create new challenges for them to tie back to that vision, right? So, and I think you were saying it earlier, right? So like when the economy is going gangbusters and people are hard to hire, your customers have different challenges than when the economy is in the slump and they can hire anybody they want.
Right.
Right. But the vision still sticks. I still need to do this. There are just different challenges I have getting to that ultimate outcome based on the dynamics of my market. And I have found that to be a really great way to keep the vision fresh, because there's always something that's going to impact it. It's okay, what are we going to do next? And why is that going to be important?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like the unique challenge during COVID of how do I keep a cat off my laptop? I wonder, somebody should do a study on how much code went missing during COVID simply due to cats.
Hey, Joel.
Hey, one area where I find vision really comes in helpful is with the development team.
Yeah.
Sharing it over and over again kind of helps everybody realize where we're going. And it also helps assure that what you're saying out there resonates inside. And so there's some symmetry and it works across the board. It bounces off the inside folks to make sure that it works on inside and outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, huge to create so much better forward momentum for everyone when the team really understands that full vision. It's a great call. Yep. I want to switch over to one slightly different topic before we wrap up here today, but I also want to, while I'm doing that, I'm going to launch a poll in the room here, and I would love everybody to take a couple of minutes while we're kind of wrapping up today to think about these couple of questions that I'm going to drop on your screen. This is confidential. Nobody is going to be your name's not associated with any of these answers. But I would love to, and I'm not going to share it with the rest of the audience directly, but I'd love to get your thoughts on a couple of things. As we're planning for the next year, what are some of the things that you're thinking about right now, some skills that you'd like to be developing as a product manager, and what are some of the challenges that you're specifically focused on? Once again, this is anonymous. We're going to hold this internally. We're going to use it to help us drive content for next year. We'd love you to take a moment to fill that out while we're finishing up here today. But Anna, switching back over to you. One of the things that I'm really interested in, I always like asking our product leaders who join these calls, is to understand a little bit about how product management is organized as a function at Paylocity. So this is kind of moving away from the vision conversation, but lots of organizations are organized and function in different ways. And I'd love if you just walk us a little bit through team structure and how you approach product management at Paylocity as a practice.
Yeah. Okay. So we have one VP of product, and then below her, we've got a bunch of directors. I think there's like 6 or 7 directors, and each director kind of owns a portfolio of products. And some of them are more platforms of our products, and some of them are more like products that we sell. So the products I own are products that we sell, and I own our talent products. But then there's a director that owns our payroll and time products. There's a director that owns our HR and benefits products. And then we have like someone who owns just the mobile app, right? And there's lots of different groups like that. So after the director level, then we have group product managers. That's what we call them, group product managers or senior group product managers. And they're the folks that manage the product managers. Mm-hmm. So they have management responsibility. They also have strategy responsibility. So to me, that's kind of the hardest job, is that group product manager, because they're expected to grow their people and manage their people and help them in their growth in their product career. But they're also kind of the official owners of the strategy. Although below them, we have our product managers, and we also hold our product managers accountable for owning the strategy of their individual product. Depending on the level of product managers, that's when it depends on how much the group product manager gets involved. We have multiple levels of product managers. We have associate, PM1, PM2, and senior, as well as principal and distinguished. So we have 7 levels, lots of levels of product managers. If you're senior or above, we expect you to fully own the strategy with very little help from your group product manager. If you're associate or 1 or 2, your group product manager probably owns the strategy, but you're inputting into it. So that's kind of how we're structured. But strategy is really important, and we want to give that ownership to that product manager level. And we put them in front of the seat. We have a meeting every week with our executive team. We put our product managers in front of them to kind of present their strategy for an hour. And it's a rough meeting. It's like a lot of it's tough. We prepare for months in advance. The product managers prepare for months in advance of these meetings, but that's been a really great way to see them grow. I've seen a lot of growth from putting them in front of those really hard conversations and having them form their own strategy and kind of seeing them kind of do that. So I think that's been a really great growth driver for the skill set in our org.
Cool. So, and then in terms of rituals and kind of the product management practice and function outside of the structure, that sounds like a big part of it is, but tell us a little bit about kind of how you approach the practice in general.
We have a lot of process, and that might sound like annoying to you all. I love process. I think process helps me. And I think it helps people too. So we have that strategy meeting that I mentioned every week. We call that the Product Strategy Council. And there's 2 people on each week where they present their strategy for an hour. But we also have every product has outcomes that they're assigned for every 6 months. And we have MBRs and QBRs. So MBRs are monthly business reviews. So every month you have to report out how you're tracking towards your outcomes. And we have quarterly business reviews, which are kind of just a roll up of the 3 months. In addition to that, we do annual and half annual planning, 6-month planning. And then we have our data routine. I'm trying to go through these quickly. We have so many, but we have very little time, but we also have data routines. So we have monthly data routines where each PM presents the data for their product. Like what's the utilization, what's the attach rate, what's the utilization, whatever their key metrics are for their specific product. They present that to at least director and manager levels. And then we can poke and ask them questions about that. So those data routines have been really helpful as well. So that's a bunch of routines and a bunch of meetings, and it sounds like a lot, but I feel like the rigor really, really helps a lot to to make sure your strategy is really backed by a lot of data.
Thank you. We probably could have done a whole session on just that talk right there. And maybe we will do a panel discussion to kind of go a little bit deeper at some point here. If we can work that in, I'll have to check with our programming director. But thank you so much, Anna, for being here. I know we're down to just a couple of minutes left. I want to share, while I was dealing with crashing computers earlier, I didn't get to tell everybody that we have got coming up next week on Friday. We have got our 3-hour product vision sprint coming up next week, and that's going to be facilitated and taught by Janet Bumpus. This is taking, Janet has a 5-day product vision sprint that she works through with teams, and she's condensed that down into 3 hours to do some rapid vision prototyping and storytelling development. She's going to be with us next Friday for our product coffee workshop. That is $199 unless you're a premium member, in which case it's included with your membership. So right now, for $299 for your product coffee premium, you're getting a 3-hour product vision sprint workshop and $150 off the upcoming Impact of AI forum and 11 more workshops over the next year or so. And our price for Product Coffee Premium is going to go up on October 31st. So if you've been thinking about joining Product Coffee, now's the time to do it. Go to productcoffee.com/premium and do that. Next week, we'll be back with Spot Me, which is going to be a town hall on lifting your product vision. Last week we rolled out our new product vision assessment, and so if watch your email, you'll get a link to the product vision assessment. We're going to encourage you to take that product vision assessment, and then we're going to come have a town hall next week and troubleshoot some of the most common hot spots that we're seeing from people as they're thinking about how mature and well-formed their product vision is that they're communicating with their teams. We're going to work on that in real time here at Product Coffee next week. Would love to have you join us. The link is live on the website right now. You can register, and we'll send an email out later today. Once again, I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing your insights, Anna. And always great to talk with you. And thanks for coming and being with us at Product Coffee today.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It was fun.
Yep. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.